Hello.
Oh, hello there. Standard Humans here, back once again after a brief hiatus.
Almost a month. Most of it not in the continent, but it's been good.
As we left it off last time, you were leaving to head out to the foreign lands in Bangkok, Thailand, and Seoul, South Korea, I believe it was.
That is correct. We went to other places too. We
Oh
stayed
yeah?
within those two countries.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very cool. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And that's all I have to say about that.
All right. No,
Uh,
fair enough. That's not very exciting.
yeah.
Let's move
Not
on
not
to the
much not
real
much
topic of
happened.
the
It,
day.
it was pretty much the exact same. Go over there, it's the exact same,
Fair enough.
No.
You just kind of stopped in at a university for a couple weeks.
Well, we did actually go to a university because my cousin's doing an exchange there, and that was actually pretty much the same. But
Okay.
one weird thing that like stuck out for me,
Yeah.
but that I noticed, the roaches
Okay.
were freaking large. We shouldn't have noticed that, but just through not intentionally seeing roaches, that's what we discovered. We were in an Airbnb in Seoul,
Yeah.
and my mom's like, "Oh, there's a bug on this. Let me on the sweater," because
Hmm.
we were like packing up to go, right? Because we were switching to a different Airbnb, and so we are packing up to go, and she's like, "Oh, there's a bug on the sweater. Evan, like, grab the sweater so I can kill it." And I'm like, "All right." So I grabbed the sweater, and my mom's about to kill it, but then she's like, "Ah!" Because she realizes how freaking large it is. It was about the size of a mouse.
Oh,
So she,
wait, what? The
yeah, the
cockroach was.
roach.
Oh,
They're
okay.
Yeah, it was about the size of a mouse. And so she like goes to
Interesting.
smack it, but even though it's so big, it's real fast and it just like scuttles under the fridge
Yeah.
at the speed of light. Then we just left immediately because we didn't want them to take the chance of them being in our luggage or anything.
Fair. That's a good
But
call. Yeah. Get out of there.
yeah, they're real big.
Big roaches. Okay.
Yeah, we were joking it would like catch the shoe. If you try, if you try to smack it, it would like hold it up like the Hulk holding up that mountain in Secret Wars.
Yeah. No, that's good. You got out of there. That was a good
Yeah,
call.
yeah, nice place though.
Other than the giant roaches. Nice
Other than
Airbnb.
the one giant roach, we have no proof there were more, but there was one.
At least one. Fair enough.
There's at least one giant roach. So yeah,
What else did
I'll
you
go
do?
over Korea first.
Was that the first one you did?
No, it was the second one. I'll go over it in that order because I found Korea was actually quite similar to Canada.
Oh,
So
okay. Interesting.
um,
So you gotta ease the listeners in. As
yeah,
I
exactly.
say, the listeners, I'm sure it's me. You have to
Hey,
ease me
and
into these
Jess.
foreign cultures. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, and you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I don't know. You've been to foreign lands like Ireland, hitting electric fences in your toy car and whatnot.
the good times. The good times. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So the part of Seoul we stayed in
yeah.
actually reminded me a lot of downtown Ottawa in
Oh,
some
okay.
parts. It was right by Seoul Station, and so there were a lot of like business buildings. It was quite upscale.
Okay.
The part right by Seoul Station, if you go outside and turn to the right,
Okay.
for the next little radius, it's a lot of restaurants and stuff, but it's not actually that dense. Like it's about the same density as Ottawa. It's not like crazy.
Okay.
So we got there.
Yeah.
Well, we walked around a bit and we're like, this isn't that densely populated. And then in the morning we were walking out again. We were like, this is like Ottawa. There's like a lot of restaurants, and we noticed that the shops and the restaurant spaces were like tiny.
Hmm.
Like a shop would be like actually a room, and there
Oh,
wouldn't be
okay.
like a back room or anything.
Hmm.
The person who owned it would just be like chilling, watching a Korean drama in the front. And then you'd
Okay.
walk in and it's like a convenience store or something, and
Yeah.
just walk in and be like, "Hey, I want something," and you buy it. But not the legit convenience stores. The 7-Elevens and stuff are fire over there.
Dude, you're right. That sounds exactly like here. You just go in and buy stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. No, but the shops were like actually they were really tiny. Like I was
Hmm.
surprised, legit bedroom size. Some
Yeah.
of them.
Based on what I know of that area, that's not overly surprising. Don't they live in like
Yeah,
what, like 100 square foot apartments or whatever? A
it's
lot of
it's
people.
definitely a more densely populated spot.
Yeah, very much
Um,
so.
but for lunchtime, we were just walking around, right? We
Mm-hmm.
found this alley where they serve naengmyeon, And bibimbap, naengmyeon, is a cold noodle dish, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's buckwheat noodles in soup with ice cubes in it.
Buckwheat noodles? What's that?
Yeah, like you ever have soba?
No.
Oh, it's just like it's like spaghetti, but with slightly different.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So pasta. Yeah. All right. Sure.
yeah, it's a pasta noodle, and yeah, it's in a cold noodle soup, so it's really nice in the summer.
Yeah, that would be.
And then bibimbap is just it's rice with like some vegetables and hot sauce and sometimes some meat or an egg. So that's pretty good. So we went that place was like it was just an alleyway,
Yeah.
but on either side of it were just counters. Like you'd squeeze through and you could sit at a counter and there were like tons of stalls that all only sold these two foods. So
Okay.
it was really weird. It was like the space between a house here. It was that sort of thing. Like that's the area you could like
Oh,
walk
okay.
in, and
Oh,
then just
okay.
the whole side of it would just be like seats
So you got like
at
a
counters.
5 foot aisle, and
Oh,
then
less than that,
less than
like
that. Okay.
two or three,
Oh, wow.
like a
Okay.
two or
2 or 3
3 foot
foot.
wide aisle, and then on either side are just all seats at counters.
Huh. Okay.
So you probably walk down about 25, 50 feet of this,
Yeah.
and then when you come to the end of it, is this I forget what market it is, but this like super populated market.
Okay.
So we go through this alleyway, eat lunch, and then we come out the other side, and there's just like all the people, and we're like, oh, this is where they all are. All right,
Okay.
like once you go through there, it was like shoulder to shoulder, like everyone walking. It was super full.
Just in that area, not the surrounding areas that you could
Like
tell.
in the surrounding areas, it was more densely populated than right outside Seoul Station.
Oh, okay.
But specifically, the marketplace, like midday on a weekend, was crazy.
Fair.
Like
Okay.
there were so many people. The most of the stuff at that particular one was made up of a mixture of like a place would be both an actual store with a stall out front. So it would be like a store the size of like a walk-in closet with an equally sized like stall extending out front where they'd hang all their stuff and whatever, and just sort of store stuff in the back,
Oh, okay.
you know?
Yeah. So very
Yeah.
small. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very small, but like a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
you just sort of ask for something, they got it. They got like 200 of them in the back. Um,
Okay.
so that was cool. We went through there, bought some stuff. A lot of it was probably garbage, but we just bought it at a cool market. So we're like, ooh.
Oh, okay.
I find that's what I find about like all marketplaces, unless they're like food markets. Most of the stuff is just like dollar store stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's very
because you're in
true.
such a cool place, you're like, ooh,
Oh,
this
it's
is cool.
foreign. Oh,
Yeah.
got this Korean
Um,
swag.
yeah, but it's like fridge magnets and shit, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't need this.
Yeah.
And Korea is not a bargaining country.
Okay.
Apparently, it could be considered quite rude if somebody's like, hey, this costs like 20,000 won, and you're like, how about 10? You'd be like, hey, you.
I mean, fair. If you go from 20,000 to 10.
Yeah. Well, I'll get onto that. You can do
Okay.
that in other places easily.
Oh, yeah,
Not
that's
not
true.
in
I've never tried
not
that
in
before,
Korea.
but
Yeah. And by the way, 1,000 won is very near one Canadian dollar.
oh, okay. So $20. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like 20
So,
bucks? How about one?
yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, in Korea, because Korea, they have an economy like comparable to Canada and like the average wealth like comparable to Canada. So most of the stuff was relatively the same. Shoes were slightly cheaper.
Okay.
Not like crazy cheap, but like maybe like 20% cheaper.
Okay, cool.
And I would say food was good, maybe 25, 30% cheaper.
Hmm. All right.
Like, yeah, like actually, no, like it was food is quite good. Like you can find expensive places, obviously,
Yeah.
but if you're just like trying to get lunch somewhere, you could probably easily get it for like 7,000 won a person,
Hmm.
which is like $7 a person.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I did eat seafood every single day I was in Asia. Sometimes for breakfast.
Is that any different from here in Canada?
Well, here I just actively avoid it sometimes because I'm kind of scared of mercury poisoning.
Fair
But
enough.
But there it was like, it's fine.
It's
It's
probably
okay.
okay.
It probably is okay to be honest, but
Maybe.
yeah, we did two things to do with the ocean in Korea. One, we took a train to Busan.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all the fans of the movie called Train to Busan about zombies. Hey, it's a pretty good movie.
Sure, I'm gonna take your word for that.
Yeah. But yeah, we took a train to Busan for the day, like just there in the morning, back at night, and swam in the ocean. And what one funny anecdote about when we were at the I think it was called Hyundai Beach, not the car.
That's what I was thinking. Did they sponsor the beach?
Yeah, no, it's spelled slightly differently, but I
Man, if they
couldn't tell
have
you the difference.
some of those dune buggies, I have no idea. I don't know the brand that well. If they have those, that'd be a sick sponsorship.
That will be pretty sick, but they
Yeah.
did not.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, continue.
Yeah, it was just it was a pretty touristy beach because Busan, so that's where it's a big beach tourist area.
Yeah,
But on this beach, we got there about 10:30.
yeah,
The entire time we were there, we saw this old, like maybe like 60 something lady
yeah.
just walking around the beach and just yelling that she's selling chicken and beer.
Okay,
Right? She's just carrying a garbage bag full of chicken and beer. And
sure.
she's like dressed normally and like has like she looks pretty normal except for that she's going around selling chicken and beer from a garbage bag. So
Okay,
we weren't immediately like we weren't alarmed or anything, but we're like, wow, that's unusual. Um, and so she was there the whole time we were there. And at one point, maybe like 2 in the afternoon,
yeah,
she put the garbage bag of chicken and beer underneath my uncle's chair
yeah.
and walked away for a bit and talked to one of the looked like a unofficial at the beach.
Okay,
And then like 10, 15 minutes later came back and got it. And we're like, oh, that's pretty weird. Why'd she do that? And then after that, she walked around for a little longer, peddling her chicken and beer.
okay.
And don't think she got any takers. So she just sat down and started eating other food that she brought for herself. And
Okay.
my aunt felt bad, so she told my uncle like, "Hey, go and buy the chicken and beer
Yeah.
because I feel bad that she hasn't sold any because she's old." And so it was like a box of chicken, like a large KFC box, like a shoebox worth,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, a large shoebox worth of fried chicken.
Okay.
And so he bought it, and she's like, "Oh, it's 30,000 won." And he's like, "I mean, we're buying this out of." He didn't say this, but he's like, "Well, we're buying this out of charity, so sure." He didn't say that obviously, but he was like, "All right." So he
Okay.
handed her
Yeah.
30,000 won, brought the chicken back.
Yeah.
This chicken that had been in a garbage bag from 10:30 in the morning, probably longer, probably significantly longer,
Okay.
and just brought it back to our chairs and whatever, and opens it to look at it, and is like, "Well, that looks all right." And then my mom, who, if you don't know her, which everybody but Aiden listening wouldn't, uh, she is very food safety conscious.
Yeah.
She does not mess around with raw meat.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. If something's been in the fridge for too long, she's like, "Get it out of here. We're not eating it. It's gone bad. You'll get sick." She's super sketch about street food and stuff.
It's a good attitude to have. It's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, but she just goes over to the chicken and is like, "Hey, that looks all right," and picks it up and sniffs it. And it's like, "That smells all right." And she just starts eating it. And
Okay.
we're like, "Wait."
What?
We're like, that could be 3 days old. We don't know where that came from. Maybe it came from a dumpster. And she's like, "Nah, it tastes fine. It's pretty salty, so it's probably fine." And then my uncle is like, "Yeah, okay," and he eats a piece too.
Okay.
And then one of my cousins and my sister also eat a piece just because they see that. And my aunt, myself, my father, and my two cousins do not partake because we don't want to die.
Fair. Yeah, that's a
of
good call.
of beach chicken. But then she came back. She came back to thank us after we bought it, like maybe half an hour later.
Yeah.
It was in rushed Korean. Not
Okay.
rushed Korean, but like she was speaking very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my aunt could only really understand all of it. What she was saying was, "Thanks for buying it because you give me 30." She didn't say, but like, "Because you give me $30
Yeah.
for a box of chicken." And she's like, The reason I had to put it under your chair there was because the police were coming by, and they've already given me warnings for selling chicken here, for like peddling chicken without any sort of permit or anything.
Yeah, yeah,
And they want me to stop, so I had to make sure that they saw I didn't have any, so I couldn't get in trouble.
yeah. No, that's
And so
pretty
she's like,
typical.
just thanks. Yeah. So we were basically an accomplice in illegally sold chicken on the beach in Busan.
Yeah,
And yeah,
that's interesting. Okay,
apparently it was good. They actually didn't get sick.
that is impressive. I
I
guess
was
she was
absolutely shocked that they didn't get sick, but they didn't get sick.
weird. A street vendor actually selling a decent product,
Not a street vendor, a
or
beach vendor out of a
yeah, that's
garbage
even worse.
bag.
Because like
Yeah.
when I was in New York, I don't remember even how many years ago, we went down. They have a whole street full of vendors who would do the same thing. Whenever the police come by, they all close up their shops and get out of there. I think
Oof.
we got like a bunch of DVDs at one because I was a child and was like, "Oh, we need the movies. Give it, give it." It's like Disney
Yeah.
movies or something. I think it was like, what was the deal? Like buy one for like 35 or four for 40 or something like that.
1 for 35.
Or
Are
no
you
way.
talking cents?
No, one for like, it might have been like four for 20 or something like that. I think that was,
Ah, okay. Yeah, that would make
and then
because I'm
like
like 1 for
15 or something.
35. That's expensive for
Yeah, no,
now.
that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
And like we watch the movies. It's I think 3 out of 4 of them were just someone with a camera in a movie theater just filming the thing.
Oh my
It was
god.
complete trash. Yeah.
Why would you not just be a normal criminal and pirate the movie?
I don't know. But they had a whole
'Cause
like chest full of them there. And almost all of them, I assume, were just people sitting in the theater recording the movie.
that's on every level worse than just stealing the movie. Just
Yeah.
pirate the actual movie and do that because we get in the same amount of trouble, but at least it's the actual movie.
Yeah, seriously, you don't have to give all your customers like the same experience you had in the theater, seeing everyone get up, making noises, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Except through the pinhole of a camera instead of your actual eyes.
yeah. So it's really weird that you actually got decent chicken on a beach from a
Yeah.
vendor trying to avoid the police.
Like I heavily with street food, but
Yeah,
I'm not messing with illegal street food.
not messing with
That feels
beach
like
food.
something you shouldn't be eating.
Yeah, no, that's not. That's a bad idea.
I don't know why she was doing that. We read a review of the beach,
Yeah,
and it said this was like a five years ago.
yeah.
This thing we read about the beach, and it was like a great beach. The only downside was this woman just yelling chicken and beer the whole
What?
time I was there.
5 years ago.
Yeah, and then they say, I don't know who the hell would buy that chicken out of a garbage bag. And I'm like, I agree. I don't know who the hell would either, but I do know who did.
If she's
Like,
still there 5 years later, people must buy it every now and then,
I know, but I didn't
often
see anybody
enough.
buy it at all, except for my uncle.
So somehow that's managed to be a sustainable business model.
I was saying, there's got to be literally any other job has got to make you more money than that.
Look,
What?
man, it's not always about the money. It's whatever makes you happy deep down inside.
It's about passion.
It's about the passion for selling
Yeah.
beer and chicken out of a garbage bag on a beach in Korea.
In Busan.
Yeah,
That's probably it. That's probably why she does it every day.
almost definite. Because there's
Yeah. 'Cause
absolutely no other reason.
if it was like Thailand, I'd be like, yeah, all right, like sure, like there's not much like social assistance, whatever. Maybe that's just like you just come by free fried chicken somehow, and so that's just how you do it.
Yeah,
But
fair
like
enough.
this is a pretty developed country, so I'm like, you've got some kinds of other means because she was like putting in a lot of work. She was marching up and down the beach for like 6 hours. I'm like,
Jesus, that's a
yeah,
determined person.
I know, and I'm like, you could do 6 hours of work and make a lot more than $30.
Yeah, you could. You could.
So
Maybe some
I don't know.
days are better. She sells more beer and chicken.
Maybe someday she sells like one every hour and she's making $30 an hour.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but for $30 too, like there's shops like 2 blocks away you could get fried chicken if you wanted to. Like it's literally the only thing you're paying for is the convenience of having it right there. So if you're listening, person,
Mm-hmm.
like just like contact us through the podcast or something. I just want to know why you're doing this.
Yeah, it's so convenient. It's like
Yeah.
basically Uber Eats, but for that one spot and just one food and drink.
Yeah. Like you seem like a perfectly rational human being. I'm just curious why you're doing this. Like you seem like you got it together, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah. Please contact me. Oh, and the other thing that had to do with the ocean
Okay.
in Korea was we went to a seafood market. And so we went there for we wanted to go around lunchtime.
Okay.
We ended up to get there, we accidentally walked through the old market because it was just like it used to be this big market in what looked like a giant empty parking garage, you know?
Okay.
That kind of like giant empty warehouse place where like gangsters meet in movies and stuff,
Right.
and like beat someone up.
Yeah.
Like that kind of place is where the old market was. And we walked through it to get to the new market by accident because we went a really inconvenient way. And it was the oddest looking place.
Yeah.
Like they were like smashed windows and shit, a whole bunch of packs of noodles and stuff left there, and like a
Okay.
bunch of cats and stuff, and people, and just like every like 100 meters there'd just be a group of like two or three people just like chilling doing something.
Hmm.
So that was a weird, shady place. Kind of into it, to be honest, for the for the vibe. And we got to the actual market we were trying to go to,
Okay. Yeah.
and we went to the downstairs first, which is the straight up market. Like if you like have a restaurant, this is like where you're gonna go,
Okay.
because it's all the tanks of like live octopus and shrimp
Yeah.
and like the whole ass tunas and stuff being carted around. So it was a very cool place to be. The ground was real wet and bloody.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, very cool place to be. You see live eels and lobsters and shrimp and everything everywhere, octopus, squids, all that kind of stuff. And the reason we were going here was one, to see it because it was cool, but also because we wanted to eat San-nakji.
Okay.
If you've ever heard of that,
No.
it's this Korean dish where it's kind of like, it's not like, I don't think anybody in Korea ever eats this like every day,
Okay.
but it's sort of like an oddity kind of dish. What it is you take an octopus from a tank,
Oh, all
it's
right.
alive, and you chop it up
Okay.
and you put it on a plate with some sesame oil and maybe some sauce or something. And because of the nerve endings inside octopus tentacles,
Yeah.
it's like how when you cut a chicken's head, it runs around for a little bit.
Okay.
These tentacles are still moving for like 10, 15 minutes after you chop it up, and you eat it raw.
Okay.
So, so that's what it is. It's moving octopus tentacles.
The f-
Yeah, that's what we wanted to eat. That's why we went there. So yeah, we're walking around this downstairs marketplace,
Yeah.
and we find one of the many market people selling octopus. So we get 5 octopus. The octopus are pretty small. They're about like size of your hand kind of
Okay.
thing. They're pretty small octopus. And then we also get like 10 very large. Like in Asia, the shrimp are large,
Okay.
so they're not really shrimp, but we get 10 prawns, I guess, just in case people like my mom and my cousin, who's sometimes vegan, were like absolutely not feeling the moving octopus.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get those in a bag. So like they're still alive, just in a bag of water,
Okay.
and we just bring them upstairs. It's like a more consumer, like individual consumer based market where there's like you can buy like plates of sashimi, which is just like raw fish
Okay.
that you like eat raw,
Oh.
you know,
All right.
like like sushi kind of thing. It's just like
Okay. Like sushi. All
if
right.
it's sashimi is raw fish that you eat raw. And yeah, you can buy like fillets that you cook at home, stuff like that. But there's also some restaurants there. So we go to this restaurant and get not a booth, but like one of those rooms with the sliding door, you know, that they have in Asian restaurants.
Yeah.
We got one of those. And so we give them the fish to cook, the
Okay.
octopus and the shrimp. And we say we want San-nakji. And even like one of the dudes who worked there, like this Korean dude who worked there, was like, when we told him that's what we're eating, he was like, okay.
Fair. Yeah. That's weird.
Really weird, but all right. So yeah, it's not like Korean people are like, what, I eat this every day. It's still like pretty unusual.
They're like, get out of here
Yeah.
with your weird
Why
shit.
why do I always want this? We don't even eat this. So yeah, we get served it. The shrimp was just really good shrimp.
Mhm.
It was not exciting. The octopus was it was unusual because you see it moving
I would
around on the
imagine that
plate.
would be unusual. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to catch your food.
You see it moving around on the plate.
Yeah.
And so you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pick that up with my chopstick and put it in my mouth and eat it when it's still moving. And I definitely ate it. Once you eat the first piece, you
Yeah.
sort of get over it.
All right.
The one thing you have to do is you have to chew it like a lot. Otherwise,
Oh God. Yeah. That'll
it's
keep
it's a
going
very it's
inside
a
of you.
very chokeable food
Yeah.
because it can suction to you.
Oh.
So because it's an
God damn
octopus,
it.
right? Yeah, which is kind of justified. Like we killed you, so you can try and kill us if you want.
No, I'm not.
You know?
I'm not mad at the octopus. This is me
Yeah.
being disappointed in everyone eating this.
Yeah, but like just to be clear, it's not live octopus. It's just recently a live octopus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very recently.
Extremely
Um,
recently, within 15 minutes.
yeah, within 15 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, you just gotta pick it up and chew it real fast, and real hard, and make sure you like chew it, and then you can swallow it, and it's just like normal octopus sashimi once you chew it 1 or 2 times. But to be honest, like I really like octopus and squid cooked with gochujang, which is like a sweet hot sauce kind of thing they have in Korea.
Okay.
I'll eat that any day. But raw octopus with no real seasoning or anything on top of it, like it's real chewy. It's exactly like you're just chewing on the gristle from a steak. It's the white fat that's inside a steak. If you ever have like a
Oh,
big
okay.
lump of that,
Yeah.
it's like you're chewing on that because it's real chewy and it doesn't taste like a whole lot.
Oh, but that's gross. That's the gross bit.
So what we ended up doing was we ate it in sam, which is where you just take some lettuce and put some rice and some hot sauce and some raw garlic
Okay.
and then some octopus and just roll it up into a little wrap
Yeah.
and then eat it, which is how you also eat Korean barbecue sometimes if you want to. But so we just ate it like that because the raw octopus tastes like absolutely nothing.
Okay.
There was also like they just included this in our order, I guess, because I thought we didn't order enough food. A hot pot, not a hot pot, but like a thing of soup with the fire still underneath it, so it was really hot.
Oh, cool.
And it was like a whole bunch of vegetables and 2 whole fish, like scales and tails and eye and everything. Maybe not scales, but like the tails and fins and everything were in it,
Oh,
and
okay.
eyeballs for sure. Like the head was fully in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the meat was really good off it. Like I totally don't mind eating like a fish's like cheek meat or whatever, but the bones were freaking crazy. You get like a
Oh,
tiny piece the
God.
size of a
Yeah.
sugar cube.
That they keep the bones in the thing too. That
Oh yeah,
sounds.
it's like you take the scales off and you're like, boom, take the scales off, take the organs out, boom, there you go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's how a lot of fish was served actually.
Hmm.
I'm not really about that. I
Yeah,
like,
because you can't eat the bones, right? Or
wait, you can't.
yeah.
So
So you
a
have
lot
to
of
pick
just
stuff
meat
out of
was,
your soup. That
yeah.
that what? No, you're doing it wrong,
Yeah.
Korea.
like like you got a piece the size of like a sugar cube and you're like, okay, this has got to be bone free, and there's like 3 bones in it that you got to spit out.
That's
So
disgusting.
yeah,
Okay,
it's no good.
that's very no
Tasted
good.
good, but like it's really hard to eat.
Yeah, that would be. There's literally traps inside the food.
Yeah, but that was a really cool experience. Glad I did it. I'm not going to be out eating raw unseasoned octopus that often. But you know,
All right, so we've covered 2 foods so far. You are no good with beach chicken, but you're okay with recently dead octopus. Out of
yeah.
curiosity, what else won't you eat?
Well,
Either from
mm,
the trip or other times.
I'm trying to think of more stuff from Korea. I don't think there was really anything else in Korea that was like sketchy food
Okay.
or like unusual. We had the first night we got there, we had Korean barbecue at a restaurant, just
Okay.
like you just found because you can just walk around Seoul, you'll find like a ton of restaurants. You don't need to look like in a specific place.
What's the difference between Korean barbecue and just regular barbecue?
Korean barbecue is They have it in North America a lot now, but
Okay.
what it is you get the grill thing
Yeah.
on your table. You just get raw marinated meat
Okay.
on your table. You get the lettuce to make the lettuce wraps and some rice and some raw garlic.
So it's a do it
'Cause
yourself kind of thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Koreans with raw garlic. Um,
Sure.
apparently, I was kind of into it. I was surprised. I was like, this is gonna be weird tasting, but it was really good with all
Hmm.
the meat and stuff, and then some kimchi because like every meal has some kimchi in it. And what you do, it's usually pork, sometimes marinated, sometimes just like pork chopped up. You cut it with scissors,
Yeah.
and then you have tongs to just like put it on the grill thing, and it has like grease bits, so it's not super greasy because the oil falls through. And you just cook it yourself, and then take it off when it's done, and make it. You either just eat it like it is, or make a little rice wrap with some like gochujang and raw garlic and maybe some kimchi or something in it.
Okay.
And it's pretty good, but I absolutely am astounded that if 50% of people who do that don't give themselves food poisoning. Like I've concluded
Yeah.
that raw meat can't be as dangerous as I think it is.
If they're just constantly serving it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like usually people drink when they go to it too. Say you're cooking a sizable piece of pork, or let's say you scoop it on with raw meat tongs. Let's say you just forget because you're kind of drunk and take it off with raw meat tongs and eat it.
Yeah.
Like, how does that not happen like every single time?
That must. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be
Hmm.
curious to hear like how often people get sick from that kind of thing.
Korean barbecue. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing to do for that reason.
Yeah. No, fair. It'd be nicer if they could just cook it themselves.
Yeah. And also, yeah, I'm like I go to a restaurant because they can cook better than me. I don't want to
Exactly.
cook myself at a restaurant. That's not why I go.
Yeah, that's not the experience you're looking for.
Like, what if you went to like East Side Mario's and they're like, okay, here's some flour and some eggs and some olive oil. Make your pasta.
Yeah, it's basically like Hello Fresh or Blue Apron, but you have to go to them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's it's like all hip and I've had Korean barbecue in Ottawa and it's definitely a fun social thing, but as just like a meal, I'm like it tastes good, but too much effort.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's
Hmm.
a lot of work. Okay, but yeah, back to the question: is there any foods that you're just like nah, or any places either like here or in Korea or anywhere else?
Well, I have rules that I follow for eating street food because I really like street food, but I'm not trying to like die.
Do tell.
I got these from just like watching these travel YouTubers who are like they're like food tourists or whatever you call them. Like they just
Oh,
go to
okay.
places like for the food or the street food.
That sounds amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Like I want that job.
fair.
But yeah, what the majority of them say is if you're gonna go eat some really just any food, but specifically street food, it should be that you should follow some rules every single
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
It should be one, it's got to be at least somewhat popular.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Like, yeah, you don't want that place like an alley full of street food,
Yeah.
but it's the only one where nobody's going to because the locals know they're probably not going for a reason.
Yeah, you want to go where the locals go. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's got to be popular. You should probably avoid uncooked vegetables like uncooked lettuce
Okay.
in most street foods because who knows if they washed it or
Uh,
yeah, or like where it's been. It sounds like pretty easy E. coli.
yeah, very.
Yeah. And the final one was like ideally you should see them cook it or see that it's like very hot when it's being served.
Yeah.
Like for instance, one thing I saw, it was actually in Chinatown in Bangkok. I was looking for it. This
Yeah.
is something I wanted to eat on the trip, but I didn't get to eat.
Okay.
I was told in Bangkok that by my girlfriend because she used to live there that they have like one of the street foods is cooked crickets.
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll just be carts of crickets. I think it's
Hmm.
more in the Chinatown than anywhere else.
All right.
But so we were walking around Chinatown for like a few hours at one night. It was really cool, super crowded, super cool place. But I didn't see any cricket vendors. Finally, I saw one towards the end of the night, but there was nobody around it. They had huge amounts of cooked crickets that were just sitting there festering. Like they
Okay.
weren't hot. They weren't on like heaters or anything. They were just sitting like beside the burner,
Okay.
just in a huge pile of cooked crickets. So who knows how long they've been there? And
Yeah.
nobody was eating them. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, good call not to do that.
Yeah, especially like I don't know if crickets give you more of a risk of being sick, but I'm gonna assume so.
I have no idea. I've never tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we stayed around that region for like about an hour, and the only people who I saw eat it, I saw maybe like four tourists,
Mm-hmm.
people who are clearly tourists, go up and eat it,
Yeah.
and nobody who looked even remotely local. So I'm
Okay.
like, that's a no
Maybe
for
not.
me.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
think those are pretty good rules.
You got to take a little risk when you go somewhere. Like you can be smart, but
Yeah.
like if you just eat at the hotel every time, then what'd you even go to that place for?
No, that's fair. Because I've heard some
Mhm.
people are a lot more conservative about it. Like my parents heard the rule a lot when they went to India for a month or two that you should only eat food that has come straight out of the package because
Oof.
because the food there can be a little not great.
I mean, to be fair, I have heard of multiple people I know who went to India,
Yeah.
got like sick as for like 3 days. Um, but
Yeah. I think
like
that's
I
also
have,
an India thing.
yeah, yeah, but
Not everywhere, but a lot.
I mean, your stomach's gonna have a little bit of adjustment anyway, even if you don't get
That's true.
poisoned.
That's true. That's fair.
A couple of them said it was actually the hotel where they got sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was the hotel food. Like they ate some street food and stuff, but they were like smart about it.
Oh,
But
okay.
then the hotel food made them sick.
Ah, they let their guard down with the hotel.
Yeah.
Ah,
Uh,
that's a
but
good tip.
honestly, if I'm going to India for like 2 weeks, I'd rather take mild food poisoning than only eat stuff out of the package.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, as long as you follow those tips, even at the hotel, the ones you said,
Yeah.
you should be mostly fine.
Yeah, you could like I
Maybe.
can't imagine you get anything that bad.
Yeah. I mean, you
And
might, but
you might, but it's less likely. But another thing about the Chinatown
yeah.
in Bangkok was that this was like a real culture shock thing.
Yeah.
Uh, every let's say half a block,
Okay.
there's a shark fin stand
Oh, okay.
for for shark fin soup.
Oh, I was gonna guess it's like all those engraved wood things, but no, actual shark fins. All right.
Actual shark fins. There were
Huh.
so many.
Okay.
It was like obscene how much shark fin they were selling. We were getting kind of hungry,
Yeah.
and literally it was like a problem. Any place that was like remotely popular or looked pretty cool,
Yeah.
it was shark fin. So I'm like, I'm not eating it,
No
but
to shark fins.
no shark fins for me.
Why no shark fins?
It's really like sharks are dwindling in numbers,
Yeah.
first of all. Climate change is part of it, but a lot of it is human activities like getting shark fins.
Yeah.
Um and it's also really inhumane the way they get it. A lot of the time they'll just chop the fin off and then toss it back in the water
Okay. All
for
right.
whatever reason. Like why not eat the whole shark if you're catching a shark anyway?
Yeah, it's weird. You might as well just take the meat back. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It seems like such a waste. But
Yeah.
also then the shark just like dies because it can't live without a fin because it can't
Yeah.
swim properly. So
Yeah.
then it'll just
Seriously.
like die slowly. So
Jesus, that's awful. Okay.
yeah, I know, right? So I'm like, no shark fin for me.
Hmm.
But it was like everything there. Finally, we found like a like fish ball soup and like just some fruit and stuff because the fruit
Okay.
in Thailand
Yeah.
is remarkable.
Oh, really? How's that?
They have a whole bunch of different stuff that you can't normally get here.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the bananas are you can get these sometimes here, but the bananas are about like the size of they're about the length of a crayon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The taste slightly different, they're pretty much the same, but
Okay.
quite enjoyable. But they have everywhere you go in Bangkok at least, I think most of Thailand, they have durian. You ever heard of it?
No, I haven't.
It's this fruit where it has a reputation for well, one, it has the name the king of fruits, which I agree with because it's now tied for my favorite fruit along with bananas. but
Okay.
it also has a reputation for smelling like absolute ass.
All right.
And I'll admit it smells pretty unusual for a fruit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. The taste is sorry, the smell is weird, but once you eat it, it's not weird anymore because you've like eaten the food and the food is delicious.
Okay.
So it tastes like a mango mixed with a papaya mixed with an avocado or something
Okay.
like that. And it has the texture of an avocado and it's yellow.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I cannot picture that. I have to try it at some point.
Yeah, the outside of it is it's quite large. It's about the size of a small watermelon and it's green and spiky.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll leave a picture of it in the show notes or something.
Yeah, but this is
Oh,
now one of my favorite fruits. It's so good. And it's everywhere in Thailand.
yeah.
Like,
What the hell are these things?
yeah, I know.
Okay.
They
Interesting.
also have just like dragon fruit and papaya and stuff that are really, really good. Like I bought dragon fruit in Canada and it was like kind of bland and I'm like, what's everyone on about? This isn't that good. And then I
Yeah.
ate it in Thailand and I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing.
And
So
these things are spiky.
I know this, but like I feel like they don't want to be eaten because they're spiky and smell bad.
I'm just looking at like a picture on the Wikipedia page of a guy under a tree full of these things and thinking like if one of those falls and hits him, it's covered in
Oh, that's
spikes.
worse than a coconut.
Yeah, seriously. He got
That'll take
bludgeoning
you out.
and piercing damage. Like
They're
shit.
large.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing. Another thing I have everywhere in Thailand is
Yeah.
just coconuts for drinking.
Oh, cool.
Like like pretty much on any street, there's just a whole bunch of coconuts. So they have the brown stuff off, so it's just like a white coconut.
Oh, okay.
Um, and you order one, and there'll be a dude with a machete just chop the top off. Like he like holds it in his hands and
Yeah.
then just like chops the top off and like hands you a straw and is like, here. It's usually pretty cheap too. Oh, I'll get on to bargaining.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be good. I think we've been recording for about an hour and have covered food so far. So
Yeah.
if we wanna
Hey, that's a big part of the trip.
No, that's fair. I assume that would be a big part of the trip for you. So that's fair. But
Hey,
yeah, bargaining.
you
What
call me fat?
yes.
What?
Yeah, I don't think we've talked about a single thing that's like bad for you. This is all like extremely like good food.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Except for
bargaining.
beef chicken, that's bad for you.
Oh,
Don't eat that.
yeah, no. Very good call on that.
Yeah. But yeah, bargaining. Thailand is for sure a bargaining country,
Okay.
at least in any market you go to,
All right.
which is like where you buy most things, at least where we bought most things. I don't know about if you live there. Probably depends on like how rich you are.
Yeah, it depends on the
But
store. Yeah.
yeah, because there's like Thailand's a country from what I saw where you can like there's some mansions and then there's some like absolute slums.
Yeah.
So there's like a wide range of wealth.
Okay. No, for sure.
Yeah, we went to this floating market and that's like a pretty touristy place. So they're
Like a literal floating market.
yeah. Oh, yeah, what it is, you get there by boat. And it's you boat
What?
around and there's
It's like
yeah, you
Venice.
boat around and it's in a series of canals in like
Okay.
this
Cool.
like jungly area. And
I see
you
why
you
you
just
started with Korea. I'm like, what?
yeah. Okay, so basically, yeah, you go
I'm
to
basically just picturing like Apocalypse Now right now.
well, actually that's the kind of like trees and stuff we're talking about.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, because
it's that
Vietnam's right next to it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm
yeah,
close
it's
actually.
real close. So it looks like that basically.
Okay. But it's a
But
market. All right.
this isn't in Bangkok. This is I don't think so anyway. It was pretty far to get to it. But I
Yeah.
think Bangkok's massive, so I don't know. But what you do is you take so you get out to this random place and you get on like a canal boat
Okay.
because there's a series of canals through this. It's like not really jungle, but they have like jungle trees, because it's like there's like houses in it,
Okay.
but there's just a lot of like trees and foliage and stuff in that area, I guess, because there's a series of canals, so there's a lot of water.
Okay.
So yeah, you get in a canal boat and a dude will drive you through the canals for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes till you get to this floating market. which is where it's just like on the side of the canals. It's maybe like 100 foot square,
Yeah.
and on either side of the canal are just vendor stalls. So you pull up in your boat, and while sitting in your boat, you just haggle for stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely
Interesting.
touristy. Like it was not one of the high points, because most of it was like almost all the stalls sold the same stuff because they clearly just got it from the same place and they're just trying to like get the best price because it's rich tourists.
Yeah, no
Um,
fair.
and so they overcharged like crazy too.
I
But
assume. Yeah.
yeah, like
Is it more dollar store kind of stuff?
it's that kind of thing.
Okay.
Like you can get some pretty okay stuff. You can get some knockoff or legit Supreme merch.
Even legit merch? Okay.
I mean, you can get stuff where Supreme is spelled correctly. I don't know if it's legit, but
Close enough.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
But
I love the
so there.
incorrectly spelled like knockoffs of clothing.
I
That's
know
the best stuff.
I wanted to get some shoes
Yeah.
that were Tila's. They were
Tila's. What?
they were Fila's, but the F was a T.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wanted to buy them just because they're so funny.
Yeah, that's
And like
hilarious.
they were really cheap, but the vendor
Yeah.
is like I saw this in multiple places. It was like a common business model, and I don't understand it.
Okay.
The vendor was like, you can only buy them, like I'll only sell them to you if you buy 6 pairs. And I'm like, hell no. What?
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Who needs 6 pairs of shoes bought at once ever?
Like this
Like,
isn't business to business transactions here. Like this is
yeah.
individual to individual. Like what?
Yeah, I was so confused. I
That's
was
so
like,
weird.
because it just looks like a regular stall where they're selling stuff.
Yeah.
So I assumed, like, I assumed it wasn't business to business because it was a stall open to
Yeah.
people to roll up and buy things.
Yeah. Can you
But
do you buy them for like all six for the price of a regular pair of sneakers here in Canada?
it was cheaper per pair of sneakers, but it was maybe like, let's say each pair was like $10.
Okay, for like a decent pair of sneakers.
I mean,
Maybe not
they're
decent.
Tila's. So
But were they like they seemed functional enough?
I honestly don't know because they were
Fair.
wrapped in plastic and he
Oh,
couldn't
okay,
try them
fair
on.
enough.
He was
Yeah.
very adamant. He's like, you cannot try them on. And I'm like, oh, okay.
They're mint. They're mint
Yeah.
Tilas.
He's like, you can't take them out of the plastic or try them on. They're also like he didn't
Oh
say
my
this, but they're
god.
also knockoff. Every brand is knockoff. Like there were so many knockoffs. Like there was no legit ones.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, you can't try them on, and you can only buy 6 pairs. And I'm like, wow, you drive a hard bargain, man. But no.
Wow. I assume he's just like he only has like the one size or something like that, and he's just trying to sell
Maybe.
them. Maybe.
Because it wasn't like he only had 6 pairs. There were probably like a couple hundred pairs of shoes in there at least.
Yeah.
So I'm like, does he actually move shoes like this? Is anybody buying these?
I don't know. I'm just trying to
That
think like some actual reasons why he would do that kind of stuff. Maybe some like sanitary concerns or that you're going to drop them in the water or something.
maybe. Like I saw it in other places too, like in other markets. They were
Yeah.
dudes, and they always had the 6 shoe deal.
And it's
What
6 every time, not
it's
another
but
number.
no, you can buy regular shoes there. Don't get me wrong. You can buy regular shoes in the market,
Okay.
but the knockoff shoes, like the hardcore knockoffs,
Yeah.
you could only buy 6 pairs.
Always 6.
Always 6. Like I saw multiple stores, not stores, like multiple vendors
Yeah.
where they're like, it's so weird because I would have bought 1 pair, easy, maybe 2,
Yeah.
because like
No,
it's
that's
like
fair too. All right, fine. Yeah.
because you can bargain for it too, so it's like $10 or less for
Yeah.
a pair of hilarious knockoff shoes. So like,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna like I didn't even have room in my luggage to bring 6 pairs of shoes back with me. I literally couldn't if I wanted to.
Yeah. That's so
So
weird.
that's another one. If you're listening, dude who sells shoes like that, one of the many, why?
There's so many levels to this that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, is that somehow getting around like them getting under the radar from authorities if they sell 6 at a time rather than one? Like
Maybe,
what?
maybe it's some kind of weird legal loophole
Oh,
where they
that's
won't.
probably it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
where it's like if you sell them in bulk enough, then you're not just like selling illegal knockoffs of shoes. You're
Yeah.
selling some other thing. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that actually makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because everyone doing 6 pairs of knockoff shoes minimum is too much of a coincidence for there to not be
Yeah,
some
like
kind of reason.
I saw two in China. I think there's one in the market and two or three stalls in Chinatown
Hmm.
that were all 6, and I'm like, huh?
Nani?
Yeah. So I was sad because I couldn't buy any Tilas.
Fair. Yeah, that sucks.
But
Oh man.
yeah.
That's so weird.
Uh, Another thing with the bargaining,
Yeah.
um, in tourist places like the floating market,
Yeah.
they overcharge a ridiculous amount. Like, I wanted to buy like a wood carving thing. Okay, so initially you need to know $1 Canadian
Okay.
is worth 24 Thai baht,
Okay.
which is not a super friendly number, but
Not exactly.
you can like approximate. So like 100 baht is like around
4.
$4,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
This wood carving is like a small wood carving the size of my fist, probably. Um, of just like an animal.
Okay.
And at this floating market, I was like, "How much is this?" And she's like, "Oh, it's 800 baht, which is like $32, about 32,
Okay.
$33. Like here, you could probably get away with that, but
Yeah,
there was like,
30's
yeah,
about.
no way. That's like way too expensive for like what it was.
Yeah.
Um,
You get a lot of that kind of stuff in
so
Canada, like totem poles, wooden carvings, that kind of stuff. And something the size of your
yeah,
fist, at least like 30 or 40. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But
But
there,
there, I was
yeah.
like, nah, because stuff's like way cheaper. But the eventual selling price
Okay.
from a non-professional bargainer,
Yeah.
I think they ended up selling it for like 250 baht.
Okay.
So it
Which
was like
is
it was almost a quarter of the price.
4, 8, $10. Okay.
Yeah, it was about $10.
Okay.
So it's so different being in a bartering country, because like for
Yeah.
instance in Korea, they're just like, this is the price, that's it. And it's like it would be like rude if you're
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm not paying that for that. But in like any market in Bangkok,
Yeah.
you're like a complete sucker if you don't at least try to get like a little bit. I mean, for some stuff, like you're not going to go up to like a fruit stand and buy a coconut and they're like, hey, it's like 20 baht, and you're gonna be like, hell no. Like
Yeah.
you don't barter for like food and
Okay.
stuff. At least we didn't.
It's
But just
just the
like,
touristy kind of stalls.
yeah, well, not just touristy, like at markets too.
Okay, just markets that
um
aren't food. Okay.
yeah, well, it depends. Like I bought a large amount of like dried herbs, and
Okay.
that you obviously, I don't know, because I was only there for a little bit. We had a guide who showed us around for like 5 days,
Okay, that's
and so
good.
she sort of explained a bit. Her name was Tomb. Shout out to Tomb, who's definitely not listening.
But check
But
out Tomb if you ever visit
yeah,
Bangkok. Yeah.
very pleasant. Big fan. Yeah, she just sort of explained like what you would and wouldn't bargain on.
Hmm.
And so, for instance, like this big bag of dried herbs I bought, I did bargain for,
Okay.
but I didn't bargain for like cooked meat skewer I bought.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
so I feel like you would just sort of get the hang of it. Like
Yeah, probably.
if it's something that is like a one shot consumable, like one food item that you're eating right now,
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't barter for it.
Mhm.
But if it's like bulk or like multiple food items, or like something that lasts for like clothes or something,
Mhm.
then you usually would, I feel. Again, not native or anything, but that's just from Tomb. That's the impression I got based on like, we always ask you like, oh, should we bargain on this or
Okay.
what?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
interesting.
so yeah, you that's something very interesting. You got to get a hang of that.
Yeah, you need to figure that out.
Yeah. Another cool thing about Bangkok and just Thailand in general, I guess,
Yeah.
is there are just monks there.
Okay. Just
uh,
around?
just around.
Oh,
You like
all right.
usually they're just sort of around town in the morning when they're going to get food because they
Okay.
just walk through town and everybody gives them food. Um,
Okay.
that's how
Interesting.
they get food because they
Oh,
don't have
fair.
money, so they don't buy their own food. They
Yeah.
literally just walk through town and survive off what people are like, "Hey, here you go."
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't like beg or anything, but I think it's good karma to
Give
give
food.
food to a monk.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and like 95% of people are Buddhist. We went to a temple as well. We saw some more there
Yeah.
and learned a little bit about Buddhism in Thailand. There was one really interesting thing was there was a 45-meter long Buddha.
Okay.
Yeah, it was laying down, and I think it was 16 meters tall because it was
Okay.
like in a laying down position Buddha.
Okay.
But that was that. I mean, that whole place had a whole bunch of like gold-plated stuff, like giant, elaborate, beautiful buildings and stuff. Whole bunch of like if you go to, I saw this monk just like feeding some cats, which
Okay.
which was funny. That was the Grand Palace. So it's like the palace, but also there's like a temple attached to it, and there's some large Buddhas. Yeah.
So yeah, what kinds of stuff do you do at the temple? Just kind of look around,
We
or
didn't like we went to like it was technically a temple, but we saw some people praying actually.
okay.
There was a section for the praying part was actually divided up. It was interesting. There was like the back bit where everybody was like walking around to look at the crazy ornate Buddhas
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then there was a front part with a carpet that was divided into two. And the one part was for just run of the mill Buddhists, just your everyday guy to go like pray and whatever. And
Okay.
then the right part, which was smaller, was only for monks, and we only saw like one or two at a time
Hmm.
praying in there. But that was pretty interesting. Something that our guide said that I knew about before, but I wasn't sure like how popular it was. She said it's quite common for Thai men, specifically Buddhists, but almost all Thai men are Buddhists. One point in their life, usually between end of high school and end of university, to join a monastery and be a monk for 3 months.
Oh, that rings a
It's
bell. Yeah.
yeah, it's supposed to be 3 months, so you can do it for as long as you want.
Okay.
Because you can obviously leave a monastery whenever you want.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like she said something like 80%
Hmm.
of Thai men do it at one point in their life, and that seemed just really interesting to me.
That is, yeah. And is that specific to Thailand? Like no other Buddhists do that? Do you know?
I don't know the way she said it. It seemed like it was,
Okay, because
but
that
I'll
rings a
look up
bell from like world religions class in high school, I think. So it might be an everywhere thing.
like every Buddhist
Yeah,
country.
yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know because I don't know if any other countries are like that are that large are like so Buddhist, like so like 95% Buddhist or something.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
and you
there
also
are
don't
other
need to be
places.
Thai to do it, she said.
Okay.
Like anybody could go to Thailand and become a monk as long as they were like legally in the country.
Okay. Yeah, there are a
hmm
bunch of other places like Cambodia's 97, uh, Myanmar's 88, Bhutan's 75, Sri Lanka, Laos, Mongolia,
Oh, okay.
Japan's 36.
All those places except for Mongolia are like really close to and or bordering Thailand.
Yeah, it's that
So I
area.
guess it's just that, yeah,
Yeah.
Southeast Asia.
Yeah, and then it does start to go down. Like South Korea, there's quite a
Did you say
few.
Mongolia?
Yeah, 55% apparently.
Huh. Didn't know.
Yeah,
That's
there
not
you
that
go.
high, but like that's still interesting. Still majority. But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting that it's just like expected that you pass 3 months, like a summer of 1 year, just like meditating and surviving on like food given to you.
No, fair enough. That'd probably teach you a lot of good kind of lessons about about how much you really need to live on to
Yeah, that's
survive.
supposedly why most people do it. She said it's not like uncommon for a woman's parents to want her to marry a guy who's done that
Mm-hmm.
because like shows that you're like mature
Mm.
and are capable of
Self-restraint.
thinking and
Yeah.
self-restraint. Yeah, that would definitely teach you self-restraint. There's a
Oh,
lot of
wow, yeah.
rules you have to follow.
I'd
You
imagine.
Yeah, you can't eat dinner. You
Okay.
shave all the hair on your head.
Okay.
You can't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
You can smoke.
Okay. So wait, why not specifically dinner?
Um, I don't know. I know that monks do only eat like breakfast/lunch from donations.
Okay, so it looks like originally the idea was the one meal that the regular people would have a day would be the evening meal. They'd work all day and then they'd come home and they'd like cook the meal in the evening and have it then.
Yeah.
And of course, the monks are living off of the leftovers of these meals. So generally, they'd eat it after or they'd get some whatever's left over the following morning because they figured that the people wouldn't really appreciate a begging monk coming up with a bowl while there's a hungry person who was out working all day trying to get some food.
Oh, good on them.
Yeah.
And it is getting quite late, so I must be going now. But I say that we could have a whole other podcast probably on stuff I did in Thailand and actually more about Korea too,
Yeah, that would be good. Both
because
of those
there's
ideas.
a whole lot I haven't said.
Yeah, I think we've got some interesting things done so far. Maybe we'll make this a
Yeah.
two-parter,
Sure.
perhaps.
Tune in next week.
Oh, to the Standard Humans podcast to find out more about Evan's Asian escapades.
Yeah, do I live? Do I die? Who knows?
You'll have to find out next time.